said, I'm working on finding a niche and would love to have some feedback. My suggested one is I help people who ticked all the boxes and arrived where they thought they wanted to be, but just to feel unsatisfied and not really knowing what's wrong, to feel more connected to their desires, more present and more alive. Okay, we're gonna parse this out a little bit here. So I'm gonna open up um, a little Google Doc, and then we're gonna, yeah. So this is, I think, going to be useful for everyone because the man, niching is such a beast. Almost everybody I know struggles with this. So let's take a look. All right. Okay. So this is Island A, right?
Yeah.
Now here's the challenge I have with this, as it's sort of in niching there are things there's two kinds of relevance. One is shallow and wide, and the other is narrow and deep. And I would say this one
Mm.
goes a bit more on the shallow and wide because I think most of us in our life can relate to this. I think this is a fairly universal human experience of we got something we think we wanted. You go on Amazon, you buy something, and oh my God, I'm so excited. And you get it, and and then you forget about it. You thought it was going to change everything, and it doesn't. You get the job you thought you wanted, the career you thought you wanted, the spouse you thought you wanted, and you're still not happy. So I just think this is it's not narrow and deep in that um, it's one of those things. If somebody said it, it's like, who can relate to this experience? And be like, yeah, I guess so. I'd be kind of internally sort of struggling to find examples, but I'd be like, yeah, that's a true human thing. I get it. But I wouldn't be sitting there like, fuck, that's me. So, um, but it's good. I mean, it's like it's in the direction of of relevance. It is a relevance establishing thing. And I think there's a chance to hone and narrow that a bit more on a particular group because it's also people. So I help people, but okay, which kind of people ticked all the boxes? But is this mostly career? For example, is it mostly relationships? Is it health? They did all the biohacking stuff. They ticked all those boxes. They're doing the red light therapy. They fucking got the blue blockers on. They're fasting, every day. They're like, and they're still not now. But hey, I feel miserable. Or is it, I went to all the ashrams and I'm not like, those are all kindred in the experience, but they're not the same. So that's one example of picking a particular track. Uh,
Mm.
so that's the first thing.
I'm yeah, I mean I'm mostly thinking of like serial personal development junkies. Not sure how to phrase that, but
So
um,
people who are always going to like personal growth courses, that kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. I would just name that. Immediately clearer to me.
All right.
Yeah, that's immediately clear. It's like, hey, if you're the kind of person who's gone to so many, you go to X number of retreats or workshops a year, you read all these books, and you just still feel unsatisfied. It's at some fundamental level, it's not working. Okay, that's a little bit more specific.
Hmm.
Now, I'm curious, in a sentence, why do you think these people are so messed up? Like, why are they unsatisfied? If you had to put it in one sentence, what's going on?
Um, Difficulty to just stay present.
Okay. Right. So there's a kind of syndrome of running to the next thing all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Both in the micro
Yeah.
and in the macro.
For sure. Yeah. 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 Right. I run to the next course, but I also avoid my feelings.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it may be that that's actually something to bring up as a sometimes the point of view can be woven almost into the headline. Because if you say, hey, are you the kind of you're a kind of personal growth junkie? You go to all these courses and you're not happy and you're getting a little self-aware about this, but you don't know what else to do. Um, and I'm that person. It's like, oh yeah, that's me. Then the next thing immediately I want to know is what's your take on it? Like, what do you think? And how is
Mhm.
what you're doing different than what I've been doing? Um, so sometimes we can bring that right up to the top. The example, I often give um, oh man, there's so many examples. But I would just consider that. Okay, but let's pause there. Now, then we go to this. And here's the big challenge with this is Island C. And
Um,
Island C is what you want for them, what you think they need. It's not what they're craving. My guess is these people, these personal, development junkies, they're not coming to you saying, I just want to feel more connected to my desires, more present, more alive. After they work with you, they would probably say that, but that's not, I don't know if that's what they're craving. So this is here's the homework I give Alex is if you go to, let's see, two sides. And for everyone, I'm so proud of this little thing. So it's a little video called the Two Sides Worksheet. And there's a little worksheet here. And this worksheet um, breaks down. This is so important, right? There's the client experience and there's your point of view. There are these two sides of the equation. And the big blunder that people make in marketing is they lead with this when they should be leading with this side, right? The very first thing we need to do is establish relevance, right? We speak to their experience of the effective things, their symptoms, where they say, that's me. The point of view comes immediately after. This is where we establish our credibility. It's where we share our perspective of the cause, which is different than their experience of the effect. And it's in this place, they're not saying, wow, that's me. They're saying, oh my God, that makes sense. And so what I'm seeing in yours, Alex, is some work here. We don't have island B. Instead, we've got island C, but you can see that's on the other side.
mm,
Um, and you just gave us your diagnosis, basically, inability to stay present. It could also be that what's most up for them is island Z. And this is something I did in a recent niching call. So you imagine there are these three islands, right? Island A, Island B, Island Z. Island A is the problem they have right now, their current reality. Island B is what they're craving, where they want to go. Island Z is where they're scared they're going to end up if they don't do anything. Oh God, I'm going to end up with Alzheimer's like my aunt. Oh, don't let that happen, that kind of thing. So, and what's important, and this goes to the first question from the two Carolines, was that sometimes actually island B is the most important thing. That's what is dominating them. That's where their energy is. Sometimes it's island A. What's most real for them is the pain they're in, and sometimes what's most real for them is their fear of what's going to become of me in the future if I don't handle this. And if you speak to the wrong one, like in the headline, you run the risk of losing them.
mhm.
Yeah. So I'm going to put the link here. So Alex, I would recommend digging into this. I'm going to put it as a reply to your question.
Great.
Yeah, I mean you're headed in the right direction. It's just some honing. Oh, and this is the other thing I would say too is if you're working locally, sometimes just based on reputation, charm and good luck, you get a lot of clients. And
Mm,
your niche is pretty broad. But if you're taking it online, it's almost impossible to make it too narrow. It's we really have to narrow the niche on the internet because
mm,
they're looking out there and if you imagine like somebody, they're a personal growth junkie, they're on island A. They're like, how do I get off this fucking island? God, I'm just so miserable and I don't can't seem to fix it. So they wander down to the harbor and they say to the harbor master, hey, I want to get to this better place, off this island. Are there any people boats that are going to this? I'm off the personal growth treadmill thing. And the harbor master's like, yeah, and points down to a section of the harbor which has 10,000 boats. And the instant overwhelm. Oh my God, what? So we want it to be a situation where they're like, yeah, oh, God, there's only 3 boats that do that. Go check over there, where there's not so much competition. There's not so much,
Mm,
because if it's like what do you do? I'm a relationship coach. Great. You and about 200,000 other people in the English speaking world do that. So it's either that we hone there's just something in the niche that has to be honed. It's the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, the how. So for the example of the design, the architecture and design work, the man, we throw a rock, hit an architect. There's so many out there. There's lots and more all every year because the schools, keep pumping them out. So then this is the overwhelm of the customer is they're looking out of how do I find somebody who's going to be the perfect fit for me? And that's the hell of the customer side is the overwhelm of I don't know who to pick. And the more we can clarify that right up front of like helping them understand whether we're a fit or not. And it starts with this, because also, Alex, it could be like in the world of personal growth, there's lots. And in fact, some of the personal growth world teaches the thing you're talking about. So it's clearly not that section of the personal growth world that's talking about being present and stopping and feeling. There's some other section of so if you can articulate that, and you can even give names of teachers, you can say, look, if you're somebody who's studied the work of this person, this person, this person, or these kind of schools of thought, gone to the Tony Robbins, whatever, and it's not working, and which is one of the questions on the sheet, on
mhm.
the two sides worksheet, you'll see it's actually the last one. Uh, Here, right? What are the past attempts? What have they already tried to resolve their issue? And the more specific we can be with this, the better. Like
Mm,
literally naming the names of the people, the schools of thought, uh,
right.
where they
Yeah,
say,
I guess for me the balance is like, do you try and do things with force and pushing and effort and will rather than like presence and acceptance, and you get the gist.
I love that. Yeah. And so then it could be helpful. I mean, I think that's the great umbrella. And then if you can give some examples of either, I mean, like, so Tony Robbins to me would be somebody who is a personification of the pushing, that kind of yang, and not bad, not, I don't really have a problem with it. It's just clearly it's largely a yang energy. And so you can give examples of specific people who are like the major players who come from that kind of just like push it hard. I don't know who that is. That Joe Rogan, Andrew Huberman? Is it the biohacking world? I don't, but the more specific you can be, because if they can read it and say, "Oh my God, that's my fucking bookshelf. Those are all the podcasts I listen to." You're nailing the relevance. But then you can also, what was I going to say? You could name the people. But you could also name the practices. Like, what are the specific types of practices that are this pushing energy? So, is that like affirmations, incantations, working out this hard? Um, like, if here's how I'd put it back to you is, let's say you say, Tad, I want you to find people who are pushing too hard. I'm like, okay, great. I'm happy to do it for you. What am I looking for? How would I know? What's the evidence that somebody is trapped in this worldview of push, 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 push? Yeah. And at the behavioral level, at the what are they doing that I could see or hear? If I went into their home, what would I find? that would tell me, oh, this person has been doing, they got a fucking rebounder in a juicer. I don't know what it is. Like, what would tell me that they're probably on that treadmill? Because if they can read it and see themselves in it, and you establish that level of relevance, and then you say, here's my point of view, pretty quick. I mean, it doesn't have to be pages of relevance. It can just be a few paragraphs, but so clear. And that's like, I think the reason people struggle is actually it's the fundamental approach,
Mhm.
which is pushing and next and more versus presence and
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
okay, we'll give it a shot. And so good to see you, man.
Thank you. That's been helpful. Good to see you too, Ted.
All right, take care.
Well.